Did Alabama fool the entire country after the first half of their game against Georgia? The answer is yes. They fooled the entire country. They fooled the College Football Playoff Committee. They fooled the AP Top 25. They fooled me. They fooled everybody involved, because that first half of their game against Georgia early in the season showed everybody that Alabama might be the greatest football team to ever exist. Dropping 28, not giving up anything on defense, moving the ball at will. And as it turns out, the actual result of that is that Alabama just had a really good offensive game plan. Kalen DeBoer is a smart offensive coach when he has lots of film to work from and how to attack a defense. What Kalen DeBoer as a head coach can't account for, especially on the defensive side, is an offense that decides that they're going to run the ball with both the running back and the quarterback. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Jackson Arnold carried the ball 25 times for 131 yards against Alabama. Who are the games and what are the opponents that Alabama seemed to have a hard time against? Well, the Vanderbilt offense, that was essentially a triple option, read option type offense where you had to pretty much decide between stopping the running back or the quarterback or any other running options in the backfield, a lot of pre-snap motion. Jackson Arnold had only carried the ball over 20 times one other time this season, and it was against Ole Miss in a loss for Oklahoma. Seemingly, a lot of those carries may have been on the fly, scramble mode, not designed runs. Against Alabama, it was almost primarily designed runs. Kalen DeBoer is a great offensive coach. His play designs, his offensive mind is amongst the best in the country. When it comes time to stop an opponent on defense, or God forbid, have a solid defensive game plan and have your guys in the right position to stop an offense on the other side of the ball that runs the ball with their running backs, their quarterbacks, other weapons in the backfield, a multi-run option attack on the other side of the ball. Kalen DeBoer has no idea what to do. Couldn't do it against Vanderbilt, couldn't stop them at any kind. Tennessee, he struggled against them, obviously, defensively. And now you got Jackson Arnold, no disrespect, but Jackson Arnold throws the ball 11 times. He has 9 completions for 68 yards. As the quarterback, as a guy who's had multiple 200-yard passing games, multiple multi-touchdown passing games this season at quarterback for Oklahoma. And Oklahoma comes in and says, forget all of that. He's going to throw the ball 11 times, and he's going to run the ball 25 times. 25 times. 131 rushing yards for Jackson Arnold. Alabama's defense gave up 260 rushing yards. The book is out on Alabama and Kalen DeBoer. The book is out. If you want to beat them, run the ball with your quarterback, run the ball with your running back, have multiple options to carry the football in the back on your offensive side, and just apply a little bit of pressure to Jalen Milroe in the pocket. He's going to continue to make bad decisions. I was wrong about the Alabama team coming into this year. Actually, I wasn't wrong. I was wrong about them after their win against Georgia. Should Alabama be in the playoff with 3 losses? Absolutely, unequivocally, without a question, the answer is no. And it's a resounding no. And if these new rankings come out, or the end of the season rankings come out, and Alabama is in consideration, or God forbid, finds their way into the college football playoff, I think the committee should be embarrassed. And this, by the way, is all coming from me. I am an Alabama fan. I am a bandwagon fan. I have no legitimate ties, but it's a team that I gravitated towards as a youngling getting into college football. I love Alabama. I loved what they did, how their program is represented, especially during the Saban era. I was, a little reluctant to fully embrace Kalen DeBoer and how the team is going to look and how his roster was built and his offensive attack and approach. I welcomed it in a little bit more after they dominated Georgia, especially the first half. Then they almost blew that game, by the way. People forget that. For Alabama to win that game against Georgia and then immediately turn around and not be ready to go against a Vanderbilt team, have no defensive answer. Anytime an opponent has a multiple run option offense in the backfield, quarterbacks, running back, guys in motion. Anytime the other team has that, Alabama has no answer. No answer. No answer. Cannot do anything. Words of famous Nick Saban. If the other team has multiple options to carry the football in the backfield between quarterbacks, running backs, and halfbacks, or whoever you want to call them, the opponent against Alabama has multiple options in the backfield to carry the football. In the famous words of Nick Saban, they're going to run through Alabama's defense like shit through a tin horn. They're going to run them over. Vanderbilt destroyed Alabama on the ground. Oklahoma destroyed Alabama on the ground. And on the defensive side of the ball, just apply a little bit of pressure to Jalen Milroe. Just a little bit of pressure. Just a little bit of pressure on the outside. Different looks in terms of pass rush. Maybe run a couple stunts. Maybe bring more than 4. Maybe bring some linebackers. Bring some DBs. Milroe's going to get flushed. Milroe's not going to make the right decision. And he's not going to play well. Alabama has no business being anywhere near the top 12 and being in consideration for the playoff. And that's coming from an Alabama fan. They have no business. I hate saying it. It breaks my heart to consider that, especially considering where they were after they beat Georgia. I mean, they were number 1. They were number 1 in the country. And then they lost 2 games and still found their way all the way up to number 7 because the rest of the pack wasn't playing very well. 8-2. They go to Oklahoma. They score 3 points. They give up 260 yards on the ground. They're having procedural penalties on offense. They're not lining up properly. They're getting, delay game penalty, like nothing that would indicate a team that even resembles a college football playoff. Nothing. And this is coming from an Alabama fan. They should not be anywhere near the top. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. They have no business being anywhere near the top 12. No business, man. And it just breaks my heart to say, but it's just an absolute fact.